Microsoft just released a new Copilot feature, and while it's very impressive, it actually signals a disturbing trend that we're going to start to see manifest all across the workforce, guys, and that is that AI is about to wipe out middle management. And over the past few weeks, we've spoken a lot about how AI is leading to hiring freezes and unemployment for college graduates and essentially a reallocation of resources away from human labor and into AI labor. And listen, if you've been subscribed to the channel, you would have known weeks ago that 2026 is the year that we stop looking at AI as a tool and look at it as more of an employee or an assistant. Everyone's talking about agents. OpenClaw, I think, really released the hounds, so to speak, when it comes to AI's impact on the workforce and making automation more accessible. Claude Copilot recently released, or Claude Copilot recently released, and it makes creating agents very, very seamless. And in a few minutes, I'll kind of talk about a specific example of how it's changed my business and how I'm working with clients, and where I might be actually just not needing human labor anymore in a few different roles. Again, I'll speak to that more in a moment. Let's look at what Microsoft is doing here with Copilot. Their new feature is called Critique, and it works by allowing the AI agent to pull outputs from both OpenAI's GPT and Anthropic's Claude for every response. And what these AIs are going to do is they're going to cross-reference each other for accuracy. And Nicole Herskowitz, who's the corporate VP over at Microsoft 365 and Copilot, had an interesting take. She said, quote, "Having various different models from different vendors in Copilot is highly attractive. But we're taking this to the next level where customers actually get the benefits of the models working together." So it solves a few problems, but the biggest one here is quality control. It's hallucinations. And if you're not familiar with the term hallucinations, this is essentially the idea that the AI just comes up with some really, really wacky responses. It gives false, misleading, or even just blatantly incorrect responses. For example, there was a controversy last year where Google Gemini was telling people to put glue on their pizza to help the cheese stick to the pizza. So it just gives you some wacky response. If you're new to the internet, you might know that there's a lot of trolls out there. And if you have a troll post that's funny or gets a lot of upvotes on Reddit, for example, that can end up being seen as valid from the AI. Regardless, if you've been using AI in any sort of degree, you'll realize that, it's really important that you just double check and validate the work. Well, what if you had different AI models double checking the work for you? Conceptually, that can decrease the hallucinations by a dramatic amount. I'll give you another example. There was a case recently that happened a few months ago where an attorney had used ChatGPT to do research for an upcoming court appearance. Well, he used ChatGPT to do that research, actually asked ChatGPT, is this case law accurate? Is this citation correct? ChatGPT said, yes, it is. Went into court, presented it. The other attorney said, we can't find this case law anywhere. And well, let's just say that that attorney had a bad time. The judge was not happy with him, and it ended up poorly. So again, these AIs both can hallucinate, be misleading, and be kind of convincing. Just in doing research and building out the YouTube channel and some of the resources for men like you, I have found that I have to validate the information that I get. So I'm using Grok, I'm using Claude, I'm using ChatGPT to do research and put resources together, but I always make sure that I double check and validate stuff on the information on other sites. So regardless, this idea that Microsoft has is by using different models to double check each other, we'll be able to reduce the hallucinations and improve quality control, which to me is one of the most important things that needs to happen for AI to become more reliable, especially as an AI employee. And one of the concepts that we've been talking about on the channel recently is that, well, AI really takes out the bottom rung of the corporate ladder, of the business ladder. You're not gonna need to hire paralegals anymore because AI can do that work. And then you, as the expert, can put that information through your God-given brain, through the lens of your expertise. And so you'll be able to kind of validate and just clean up a lot of that busy work. But the thing here, guys, is that if, assuming that these models work, and by cross-referencing you can give a much more accurate output, well, that actually cleans up an additional layer. That actually takes out the middle management position, because in most organizations, the employee is given work to do, they complete the work, they give it to middle management double checks, cross-references everything, reviews, and then presents the final product to upper management. Well, upper leadership, top leadership, right? Well, what if you don't need the middle managers anymore, because the AIs, the different AIs cross-referencing each other, are able to do that work themselves? Well, then upper leadership is going to say to themselves, well, we don't need the middle managers to validate the work, at least not as comprehensively. And we don't actually need the grunt work at the entry level of the corporate ladder, the employment ladder, because AI does that quite well and quite consistently, and then it validates. And then what we get is, let's say, 95% accurate, and you can check for adjustments. This it completely upends the way that the corporate ladder works. And guys, this is exactly what I've been talking about for the last year. And that, if we're not adapting to what AI is doing, we're gonna find ourselves with a lack of relevancy. And if you lack relevancy, if you lack the skills that are necessary to function in this new world that we have, well, you're not gonna get the respect that you want. Your wife's not gonna respect you, your friends are not gonna respect you, your community's not gonna respect you, because you're not gonna have relevancy, you're gonna lose respect, and then you lose your opportunity at financial freedom. So again, the goal of this channel is, hey, how can we as men retain relevancy, respect, and financial freedom in a world that is changing very, very rapidly? Because the reality is, as these AI tools become better, as these AI tools become so good, they become AI employees, and then at a certain point where they can actually do the management and middle management, well, we're gonna see a huge shift here over the next 12 to 18 months. And I don't expect that Microsoft Copilot is just gonna overnight companies be like, okay, we can just gut all of our middle management, which in general are gonna be six-figure incomes plus benefits. But over the next 12 to 18 months, we're gonna quietly start to see more and more layoffs of middle management. That is my prediction, that is my hot take. And the reality is that it's not just gonna stop with organizations that are using Microsoft Copilot. You look at programs like Google Workspace, and it is a perfect fit for implementing these AI agents across the board. You think about it. You're using Google for your calendar, for your email, for cloud storage, for virtual calls through Teams. You have multiple team members all in there, all integrating. Every user in your organization that's using these different apps can all be integrated into this central database. And then Google is using Gemini and other AI apps to cross-reference, validate, and reduce hallucinations, you could start to see how powerful this is going to be. And I gotta say, this idea of turning these tools into employees is very, very real, guys. Just in the past 2 weeks, I've been using Claude Copilot to do some really remarkable things. It's turned into a very powerful assistant for multiple brands that I work with. And I just want to kind of briefly share something that I worked on the past week that, it's been pretty shocking. So last week I had Claude, and by the way, guys, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder. I'm a regular guy who left my insurance day job about 5 years ago. I've been solopreneur. I've worked with dozens and dozens of VAs, virtual assistants all across the world, here in the States, across the world, all over the place to build different streams of income. I'm just a regular guy. And frankly, I think I'm pretty smart, but I'm not even that smart. There are guys I know that are much smarter than me that are just doing some amazing things, and more on that in a moment. Regardless, I take Claude Copilot, and I'm in the marketing world, and I have it do an audit on a client's website for both search engine optimization and answer engine optimization, which essentially means how well does the website show up when someone goes to Google and does a Google search, or how well does it show up in answer engine optimization when someone does an AI search? How often are our brands showing up. 5 minutes later, it gave me a comprehensive breakdown on how to improve the website. And it was very, very good. 15 minutes later, it was making adjustments on our WordPress site to optimize it for keywords, focus keywords, metadata, schema, all this stuff to make it more search friendly on Google, and gave me a bunch of ideas for answer engine optimization for LLMs, large language AI models, okay? And now, historically, I would have team members do this work. I would go to a team member and say, hey, you know, this is what we want to do. This is the action. Mind you, I would have already spent a couple hours doing the audit myself, but now I could just have AI do the audit. I can go in and validate, make sure everything looks good, and go from there. And, you know, like I mentioned, in the past, I would have team members doing this work, but now, to be frank, I don't know that I need to actually pay a human being to do this because it's way less expensive. It's way easier for me to just have my AI agent do this. And by the way, this is only gonna get better. I already know people that are having phone calls with their AI agent. So like I can get in a car, I can go to pick up my kids from baseball camp, which is where they're at today. I can go pick up my kids from baseball camp and I can, boom, get on the phone with my AI agent, say, hey, where are we looking on this project? Where are we looking on this project? Can you make adjustments here? And then the AI agents are just gonna work in the background. That is weird, like it's already happening. And you know, this stuff is moving so fast. I don't know if you are like me at all, but it sometimes feel like I'm just drinking from a fire hose. There's so much new information coming out every single day, and it can be exhausting. It can lead to this analysis paralysis. There's so much to look at. It gets to this point where like, well, I don't actually know what to do, so I'm just not gonna do anything. And to be frank, guys, I think that's a really dangerous place to be. I refuse to be there, but you know, it's like every day there's a new app, there's a new software, there's a new method, there's a new update. I mean, it's happening all the time. And you know, my fear, guys, is you log into this video, in these videos, you get freaked out, and you're like, oh, I'm just not gonna do anything, I'm gonna pray. And prayer is a good thing for all my God-fearing viewers out there. And if you're not, prayer works. Prayer is a good thing. And I could get into different reasons and different experiences I had with prayer. I'm not gonna get into that to this video because what I'm trying to get at here is that you need to be using these tools now. And there's plenty of resources out there on the internet. Just by going to School of YouTube, you can learn this self. But again, the problem that I've run into personally is this analysis paralysis. So what I've got coming up, I do have a workshop coming up. Again, I'm a regular guy, not that smart. I brought in a buddy of mine who is an absolute genius. He's built some amazing things. And this is the first cohort we've done. This is the first time we've done a workshop, and I understand that there could be some skepticism. We don't have all the testimonials. I know it's gonna be great. And because of that, there's two guarantees. There's two guarantees that we're offering if you get into this first cohort. Again, I want this to work out for you. By the way, selfishly, by this cohort working out well, it's good for me. It allows me to make more money, allows me to give more focus to these tools and give more resources to guys just like you, okay? We have two guarantees. The first is a money back guarantee. If you come in to the workshop, it's a 2-day sprint. It's 2 days. It's 2 days, and by the end of the 2 days, you're gonna have a working app, you're gonna have an entire tech stack, standard operating procedures that are replicable. You can actually build your own software. You need zero developer experience. You don't need to know how to write one line of code, okay? If you do the 2 days and you're not satisfied, we will give you all of your money back, 100% of your money back. Guaranteed, that's my guarantee. And the second that we're doing just for this cohort is that if you join this first cohort, if you put your faith in us to deliver something that's powerful for you, you will also be granted access to any future cohort. So any future workshops that I do, again, this is exclusive only for the guys that join this first cohort. If you join it, you go through it, you will get access to any future workshops that I do completely free. They will be free. Any of these workshops that I have coming up will be free. I don't know anybody that's doing this, but that's what I'm giving you guys here on YouTube. We want it to be successful. We want you to go through it. We want your feedback. If you're willing to put your investment into yourself and put your faith in us, we're gonna bring the heat, okay? We're gonna bring the heat. So in any event, can't wait to see you there. It's coming up in a couple weeks. There are still some spots open. I wanna see you there. I wanna learn with you. I wanna grow with you. Oh, also one more side bonus. For the guys that join, if you like, we're gonna actually feature your app in your journey on this channel. Guys, I reach hundreds of thousands of people every month on this channel. You have the chance to put your app, your software, your idea, your face, your project in front of potentially hundreds of thousands of people. So there's a huge, I think there's a huge value, and I hope to see you there. Money back guarantee, free access to future cohorts, promotion, and visibility on the channel. I think guys, I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to see you there. In the meantime, whatever you do, just realize that this stuff is happening. What Microsoft is doing, what Google is doing, what all these companies are doing is going to impact every single level of every single organization. That is how I feel, okay? In any event, make it a great day. If you like today's video, go check out yesterday's video where we talk about Microsoft freezing hiring in key divisions in the organization. They are frozen them. Where are they freezing them? Where are they actually hiring? Click the link here, guys. Check it out, and I'll see you there. Peace.